book talk, booktube, book clubs. Movies are not your place to go to talk about what is on the screen. This is not your Wednesday meeting where you meet to discuss a book. The audience did not pay money to listen to you talk during the film. Also, raise your hand if you've been to a theater. They tell you to turn your phones off or silence them. We don't need Taylor Swift as your ringtone blaring in this movie. And The Housemaid is a movie that really showed me how strong book clubs are and how they are going to come to these theaters and try to discuss everything that takes place. Now, I will preface this by saying that is not everybody that is in a book club. If you read books, you're in a book club, you talk about books, great. But in a theater, that is not the place, because when you are looking at a movie like The Housemaid, it is built on suspense, it is built on character development, and it is built on the ability to kind of guess what is going to happen next, but ultimately not having a perspective with what is on the screen. In many ways, you necessarily are not able to look at what is on the screen and make a direct correlation of what is going to happen next. And I think as you watch this movie, you have Amanda Seyfried and Sydney Sweeney taking on these roles that are almost counter each other. They don't have any respect, in a sense, for each other. I say that because the respect is kind of one way. But what you have in that perspective is that, in a sense, both characters wish they could swap each other's personalities. And I will say that is something that I learned at the end by watching the film, is that you almost feel as if each character wishes they had the life of the other. Now let's get into the whole central plot of this movie. Millie goes to work as a housemaid. She does this in a rich family, and ultimately this is where things pick up. Nina, who is the wife, is kind of friendly with Millie's character. She then begins to become aggressive towards Millie's character. And then you have a daughter who, in a sense, her role is there to play a kind of stuck-up, rich, snobby daughter. But then towards the end, you kind of see her character evolve, and I think that is actually a smart thing to do. And then you have the husband, who is the centerpiece of this entire story. But when you look at this, you really have a relationship between the three adults and how it is all going to play out as things go along. And so when you watch this film, you kind of wonder what is going to happen next, and have they already gave you clues about where the direction of the film is going to go. And I have to say, from an aspect of a movie keeping you entertained, I think this movie is at least solid and gives you something on the screen. Now, at times, you're going to have a little bit of a feeling of, okay, this is where something's about to happen. And I think they do a good enough job by keeping Nina and Millie's relationship distant enough where even though they feel connected, you almost don't necessarily know how their relationship is going to evolve as the film goes on. And so I think when you look at the characters in the movie, Amanda Seyfried is somebody that I think does an excellent job of playing this almost villain character and giving you something where you watch the movie and you can say, I hate that person. Sydney Sweeney playing Millie, I think she does a good job, good performance, good job by taking on this role where she is somebody that has a past, but as she acts and you see what is going on the screen, you don't really notice that. You realize that she's trying to be somebody good, but then you can never outrun your past. And so then you get the husband. And I think by adding him into this and adding his perspective into all of the events together, it really sets up a rich, snobby lifestyle, a stuck-up personality, but ultimately, who is the crazy one in this whole situation? But let's get into where I think this movie does kind of fall flat. And honestly, there's part of me that wishes it would have been done a little bit sooner. So the runtime in this movie is about 2 hours and 12 minutes, somewhere along those lines. But what I really think about when you look at this movie is you're watching this movie going, okay, what is going to happen next? And there are two key moments in this movie where it kind of is that big, there it is. But I have to say, as you look at the perspective of Nina, I think that needed to be done a lot earlier. Because I believe a lot of this starts coming in about an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute mark. So we're already towards the end of the film. And I think as you watch this, by having it so late in the movie, you almost feel lost on what is going on. You almost feel rushed as well. Because if they could have introduced this a little bit sooner, you would have had a better opportunity to build on that final big scene that you know is going to come. You don't know when it's going to actually show up, but you can see stuff building in this movie. And I think by not allowing Nina and Millie's character to really express the thoughts that they do towards the ending of the movie, it really makes this movie a little bit difficult because you wish it would have been done sooner. We're trying to portray these rich, stuck-up people, bringing in a housemaid, but you're also looking at it going, okay, there is more to this story. And I think even though there is that little bit of a delay in bringing that perspective in, we do get an opportunity to see it. And I think that is where this movie will have success. Now, as far as overall movie perspective towards the book, I've never read the book. I have to be honest with you. I have never read this book. I have no interest in reading this book. I just wanted to see a good film. And I think as far as a movie, it's going to have some suspense. It's going to be more of a psychological thriller. I wouldn't necessarily call it a full-on thriller, but there's enough that is going to mess with your mind where you can relate to certain things taking place. And so I think from that aspect, it does give you something interesting to follow throughout the duration of the movie. Towards the end, I will say I think they do a good job of incorporating some horror-like categories. They give you enough, or characteristics. They give you enough where you can buy in and kind of see what the whole purpose of the movie is. Now for rating. This is actually something that I was considering on my ride home. Did I enjoy the movie? Did I hate the movie? And ultimately, I think this movie kind of falls in the middle of it's a good movie and it's a solid movie. Because for me, when I'm looking at a movie like this, I'm looking at, was I entertained? I was, for the most part. Did it have a good story? It's based on a book, so a lot of people that are seeing the movie are going to be the ones to kind of make that come into play. And so for me, when it comes to The Housemaid, it is about a 3.7 out of 5. I think the movie is entertaining. I think it has enough aspects where it's going to be fun. I just think that when you're looking at a lot of what is in the movie, there could have been a more backstory to things earlier on, and that would have given more buy-in for a novice audience like myself who has never read the book, and I think that is where some audience members may struggle. So The Housemaid is out now. Amanda Seyfried and Sydney Sweeney do an excellent job in this movie. If you have a chance to go see it this weekend, I do recommend it. Pardon, you may have heard the little battery low. That's okay. But we are done. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to follow along for more. We are on our holiday break, which means we will have more videos coming out. Stay tuned. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you all later.